What's up, guys? Who's better here with Cadding again, who made top 16 at another one of the Edison World Qualifiers. This is what, world number 5?
I think so, yeah, number 5.
And he did it again with Reptilianne Vasky.
Yeah, I think at this point it's like fully Vasky hero.
No quick draws.
Yeah, I cut out the quick draw. I kind of tried to slim down its identity a bit. Got top 16 with it again. Lost immediately in top 16 again. Feels good. So this will be a bit of an abbreviated profile. The last profile I did, I think, contains all the explanations you need for all the key synergies in the deck. So I will shortcut some of this stuff. But if anyone has any questions, you definitely know where to find us anyways. But heart and soul of the deck was still 3 Vasky. I wanted to make this card work. I wanted to make it do things. Weirdly enough, we'll post the replays in the description here, but I don't think I actually summoned it terribly often this tournament, despite going 8 rounds with it. But
and having 3 of them. Did you board them out ever?
I boarded 1 out against Black Wings.
Okay.
Just because I worried about oppression and not being able to, it'd just be a brick. But
did you play Vayu or no?
I did play. No, actually, I did not play a Vayu. I played 2 Black Wings though.
Okay.
So I had to worry about oppression twice. But yeah, 3 Vasky does things. Cool boss monster, easily summonable, pops cards. People don't read it all the time. It's neat. Love it. We then have the last Reptilian card, which is Naga. It's just a little thematic Spirit Reaper for the deck. Sets up Vasky on its own. I like it. It's cool. I cut Gardena from this list. That's a change that you'll notice from the last one. I thought it was too slow, too narrow. Overall, I didn't really miss it. Going forward, I might be trying to focus more on Gardena offering, but for now, I think this was fine. So that was it. That was only 4 Reptilian cards. I said this was hero. I paired it with 4 hero cards, Stratos, and then Alias to Future Fusion for Gaia, and then Plasma is the other alternative boss monster of the deck.
I'm struggling to understand what Plasma does.
So Plasma is just here because it synergizes with what the rest of the deck is trying to do. You know, you summon it with your tokens that you're making while also trying to get Vasky out, and you can search it with Stratos. Future Fusion sends Dandy to make tokens. It's another Foolish, but better. So previously, I only had the 3 hero package, and Alias was only in there just so you had something to get off of Stratos or Future Fusion in case you draw one or the other.
Because you need a Future Fusion for Gaia.
Yeah, and you need an E hero for it.
Yeah.
I added Prodigy this time, both as, if you already have your Dandy in the graveyard, sometimes you want to go Ab-Zero with Future Fusion. Sending this and Snowman gives you 2 different levels for Debris Dragon, which is helpful. And this can also help you summon out Plague, and like I already said, is somewhat synergistic. I'm sorry, not Plague, Caius. And is somewhat synergistic with Debris Dragon itself. But limited hero package, it's really there both to give your deck an engine, support Future Fusion, give yourself some beaters, an alternative boss monster that works with what the rest of the deck is doing, and just as a side strategy. It's synergized well enough this tournament and last tournament. This is probably on the chopping block. I don't know if I'm going to put a 4th hero back in or not. Still working that out, but this was mediocre most of the time. Going on, so we're trying to send Dandy.deck. So we have triple Debris Dragon trying to maximize the strengths of...
I remember playing this at Getting. The first thing I said was, please play 3 Debris Dragon, because you were on 2 at the time. There were 2 cards you wanted me to test, one of which I decided was this, but the other one you wanted to test was Creature Swap, but I was like, please play 3 Debris.
Yeah, 3 Debris was correct. You almost always want to see this card. It sucks if you see it and you don't have Snowman or Dandy in the hand yet, or in the grave, but it's one of your power plays. I mean, the fact that you can Debris into Dandy, make either Black Rose nuke the board, get 2 tokens, drop Vasky immediately afterwards is pretty strong, or just make Black Rose or Ancient Fairy and just have 2 tokens, or just it's a strong card by itself. Does a lot of things. It's one of your best normal summons. This deck is kind of normal summon heavy, which is originally why I had it at 2 in my old list. I think I like the consistency of having it at 3. But you can brick on multiple copies. We have Token Generator. We have Dandy. Nothing really to say there. You're trying to get it in the graveyard and live as soon as possible for all of your card effects. We have Disenergize with the token generations, Triple Caius. Again, nothing to say there. Sometimes I think I lost with multiples in hand that I couldn't summon, but you play enough ways to make this summonable that I don't really think it's incorrect.
Did you ever do the special Vasky pop, sack for Caius, banish?
I think once, yes.
Okay. Did you ever do the normal summon Debris Dragon, bring back Dandy with the 2 tokens from Doomsday, and then sack the Dandy and the 2 tokens off for Plasma, and then use the 2 tokens you just got again to make Iron Chain?
I did not.
That's the play I think would be like, that's like the boss play for me.
No, I have not. I mean, the boss play for me, like the God opening in this deck, if you're going first, is Future Fusion, Debris Dragon makes Stardust, and then sometimes you can decide to drop Vasky. You probably shouldn't. But at that point, you have Stardust, 3 tokens, and next turn you can either just drop Plasma or drop Vasky. That's like where a lot of your setup comes from. I bumped this up to 3 from last time. 3 Snowman Eater has 0 attack, is a water for the heroes, is 1900 butt to survive things. It helps you get out Caius, like it's just a good card. Sometimes you will be frustrated if you have a bunch of these and like Dandy in your hand. You just can't do anything active whatsoever.
Oh, that's fine. They're the best cards. So
But
Snowman Eater, you want to see all 3 as quickly as you can.
Yeah, Snowman Eater was almost never bad though. It was only sometimes too slow, but otherwise the card was always impactful, especially if you see it turn 1 or 2. And we rounded off with Gores. Somewhat conflicts with Future Fusion, but I think it's worth the risk because the card is good and people will try to blow you out anyways. Spells. I think that was 20 monsters even, by the way.
Something like that.
For the hero parts as well as the Foolishing part, we have Future Fusion, good card. I did try 1 Miracle this time, considering I'm up to 4 heroes now.
That card's awesome.
As well as I'm on a Rhoda to find the Stratos, to search out the Prodigy or the Plasma, or God help you, even Alias. Sometimes it's necessary if you just have no monsters in hand, you need another beater. This was the hero package and spells. It was good. This is good as it's supposed to be. Rhoda was fine, actually. I'm iffy on Miracle. I think the hero package either needs 1 more card or something needs to change because it was only live about half the time. Granted, the half it was live, it was fantastic. The half it wasn't. I
feel like you have enough stall cards to wait till you get there.
It depends on what you're playing against. Against something like Black Wings, maybe not. Sometimes against Frognark, again, maybe not. Maybe your materials will get banished. So I don't know. I know some people kind of poo-poo on the running 1 of this philosophy. I think it's fine. But I might be cutting it going forward for consistency or building around it more appropriately. But it was fine.
Build around it. The card rules.
It was, frankly, it was actually, I was going back between this and Dad as the one of like power slot.
I was going to ask about Dad because there are a fair amount of darks in there.
There's 10 darks in this list at the moment. The problem is you don't really search any of them. So it's very inconsistent whether or not you get the numbers to line up. So if you want to replace this but still have a 1 of power play, I would recommend trying out Dad. I think both are semi-inconsistent at the moment, though. Token cards. Goat and then Doomsdays. They're great. This sets a Vasky, it sets a Caius, it sets a Plasma. It's defense. It's creature swap fun. Nothing really to say there. I think the ratio of maxing this out and running the Goat is still appropriate. Nothing really. I wasn't really complaining about seeing these unless I saw like multiples of them. Like any 2 of these in the same hand feels kind of clunky, but I feel like they're kind of necessitated. So I'm going to keep it as is for now in these lists. To go with them, I did have 1 creature swap. I actually like this a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the things I tested where I initially started with 2. I was like, this is great at 1, awful at 2.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed creature swap a lot. It saved me a handful of times. Nothing really to say about it. 2, as you said, might be too much, but at least 1 feels very good. And then we're just into general one-of stuff. Brain Con for Caius, Allure because you're on 10 darks. This is debatable. If you cut down Infernal Prodigy, I would probably cut this. Again, because you're not searching anything. This is... I know technically 9 darks is plenty to run Allure, but it's a little inconsistent in my opinion. Foolish to send Dandy and or a Water for Miracle, Heavy, and MST. That rounds out the spells. I think that was 13, and now we're getting on to 7 traps. It's mostly typical stuff. We got Dust Shoot, Double Bottomless, Torrential, Mirror Force, Solemn, and I opted to flex a Wing Blast as another way to get Dandy out of hand, or really just get some of the monsters that are probably going to build up in your hand every so often out. Maybe even a Snowman for debris or something, but really it's just there as a chainable reactive card that has an occasional side benefit, and sometimes cards in your hand are doing nothing anyways. So I liked it. I think as a one of it would be fine. Every time I saw it, I was more or less happy with it. So good inclusion overall. That was the main deck, 40 cards. The extra, it's mostly just, it's all debris stuff, except for the heroes. We got double Iron Chain because you have the room. You got Black Rose. You got double Ancient Fairy, again, because you have the room. That's the 7s and 6s. I was just on triple Stardust because, again, you have the room and you're on triple Dandy or triple Debris, so you can make it. One of Red Dragon Archfiend, yeah. I mean, you make it. Sometimes you just need a 3K beater. You're almost always going to be blowing up tokens during your end phase if you summon it, but sometimes you just have to. So can keep that in mind. And considering we're on triple Debris, one Trident Dragion, again, just...
Did you make it?
You have the room. No.
Because I know you can just blow up your own tokens and just kill them.
The potential synergy there is super, because as you said, you just pop 2 tokens that are doing nothing and suddenly you have 9,000 damage. Never happened though. I never got there. I think if this deck switched to running Rykos, you would be able to make it a lot more consistently, just because you'd be making Iron Chain itself more consistently. But
because of the Rykos? Yeah.
Yeah, because of the Rykos. Because right now your only native 2 is Infernal. Yes, you can make Iron Chain with Debris and 2 tokens, but...
Can you even make the second Iron Chain Dragon or no? Or is it just Brain Con and stuff?
Technically you can, yeah. It's just,
because of the tokens.
Because of the tokens. You're just... Yeah. Are you ever going to do that? Maybe once in 100 games. That runs out the Synchros. The Heroes. We have the rooms. We run triple Lab Zero. 1 for Future Fusion, 1 for Miracle, and then a third because you do run Super Poly in the side deck, so you might as well max out on 3. 1 Gaia because you really don't need more than 1, and a Chimera Tech because you have the...
Did you ever want the second Gaia instead of the third Stardust?
No, it never came up. Side deck. 1 Cyber Dragon. I don't know. Maybe I'm not respecting machines enough. I felt like 1 and 1 Chimera Tech was enough.
You're floating into tokens, so especially when that card's hard.
Yeah, so there's that to consider also. But I felt 1 was enough to include double Crow. Crow came in clutch for me a few times. It's a staple at this point. And Vanity's Fiend to round off the monsters in the side. I mean, good card. You're running a bunch of tokens that help.
They're dark, yeah. You contribute
summon dark monsters
with the token guy.
Yeah, with Fires of
Doomsday, yeah.
It's easy. Dyna is, normal summonable. You could theoretically tribute 2 tokens for Vesky and then normal the Dyna, which is what my mindset was before, but this card is so much better than Dyna in a deck that can support it. So.
And you're not on book. So.
No, and I'm not on book for Fossil Dyna shenanigans, so this is good. Good card. Spells, 1 My Body and 1 Super Poly. Super Poly just with the increased hero count and any frog player you run into or hero mirror match or something. Good card. My Body. I don't know. I thought it was a proactive way to counteract both cards like Deck Devastation and Icarus and even Oppression on Dandy. I don't know. Good card in theory. I boarded it in a few times. I don't think I ever saw and resolved it in the same game. So the theory was there. Try it out for me and let me know if it actually works. Going on to traps, 1 Dust Tornado and 1 Trap Stun for the spell and trap hate options. I was on double Dust until, again, I remembered how much this deck just gets absolutely shafted by Deck Devastation Virus, and Dust Tornado doesn't stop it. So against decks that could run it, I opted to side this in. Could you also side in 7 tools for some reason if you wanted to? Yes, but this also hits face-up oppression. So I don't know. I thought it was fine. It's a versatile card. I don't think I ever drew it and resolved it again. Funny enough, speaking of deck dev, I opted to side one because you are on Gore's triple Vasky, Plasma, and triple Caius in the main. I don't think running more than one of this in the side is optimal, but you definitely can support one. I don't think I ever really saw it either, but the theory was there. If you really want to, you probably could run two in the side just for consistency, but you're going to have a hard time resolving the second one. One of Light Mirror, I didn't really expect to run into a lot of fairies or Lightsworns, so I didn't want to side too hard for them, but I also hate Lightsworns. They're my demon in tournament runs, so I had to include at least one, and I'm glad I did. I played against a Lightsworn player. I saw this. It felt really good. So that's
how'd that match go?
This card. Double Rug for decks that do things on normal summon, and Double Compulse for faster decks or decks that could set cards that are really annoying to bounce back. Really, it was just supposed to be a chainable card. It could probably also be book to put down like Vanity's Fiends or something that your opponent's running. Overall, I thought Compulse was a little more flexible into things like Black Wings, but or Vayu is the other main deck I had in mind for it. But
okay, I was wondering what those go in against.
Vayu is like Vayu and Hero were the main reasons for it. Spin or bounce ab zero, bounce whatever they summon off of Vayu to stop the chain. But it's a flexible side if you're worried about just needing more chainable interruption to things, which it was. It was a good card every time I saw it.
What are you leaning into right now to, like, if you're not doing Infernal Prodigy and Miracle, like, what are those two?
Good question. So what are the cards I didn't like?
Bring back the quick draws.
No, I think you would have to change this up pretty significantly. I didn't like Allure all that much. I did not like Miracle.
You never clumped Vaskies?
I clumped Vasky a time or two, but not super consistently. I was not huge, as I said, on Infernal Prodigy. I think that's about it. Although I might consider dropping this to 2 for an experimental list. I'm not sure yet. But really, these were surprisingly the cards I didn't like as much. I think you need more heroes to support this, or more ways to get heroes to the graveyard, like Raiko or something. This is super cool for Caius and Debris, but same problem with Cyber Dragon. You have so many tokens that you're almost never specialing this the way you want it to be. And if you're cutting this, you're going down to 9. Allure is barely viable there, and you're normally going to be banishing a boss monster or something. It's great if you have multiples and you can't summon them. It's not great if you only have one Caius and an Allure in hand, and you're like, man, I'd really like to summon this Caius, but don't want a dead Allure in my hand.
With Plasma being the house that it was, would you ever consider playing this deck without the Reptilianne cards and just leaning full into Plasma Turbo?
I have thought about it. I haven't labbed out any kind of list because Plasma was performed a lot better than Vasky this tournament round. I think I summoned it in a handful of matches, and each time I did, it went uncontested and won me that game. It felt really powerful. I know it didn't quite feel that way last time, but it's almost always never like an awful card. So maybe this is like a double Plasma, double Vasky list going forward or something. I think that's worth considering. At the moment, though, I don't know how that deck would look. I feel like you would need to make a few more changes. I just don't know what they would be.
We'll cook.
We'll cook, but I've considered like main deck Granimal. I've considered another creature swap. I've considered more discard traps. I've considered upstarts.
That wouldn't be terrible.
So there's a bunch of stuff you could try in these slots, or others if you didn't like card choices.
Or like Legacy.
Yeah. And if anyone's curious about my matchups, again, we'll post replays in the description. But I played against a Jinzo Returner deck. I played against a Tribute Stun deck. Those were my first 2 rounds. And then
so the Tribute Stun deck was...
it's like Mausoleum,
Lad, Vanity's Ruler, Gadgetron Dragon with the Gear Town,
Christia,
they're all level 8, so you could trade them all in. You can call for Christia, call for Gadgetron, other dumb stuff.
It seems really goofy, but then they Maws out a Lad, and the next turn they Maws out a Christia, and the next turn they Maws out, they keep going, and it sucks.
Did they play anything to gain life back?
No, not that I saw anyways. So yeah, they've got 2 activations. And
bro, where's the bottomless Gadgetron Chain Mystic Walk? Where's the play?
Insane. from there, I went on to play Frog Monarch and won that one too. My first loss in round 4 was to Hero Frog. I got pushed in. 10-foot absolutely annihilated me. That was a quick 2-0. Round 5, I won against Blackwing. Round 6, I won against Lightsworn. Plasma put in a lot of work there. Round 7, I lost to Fitz. He was playing Diva Zombie. And then I lost in top 16 to Blackwing again. All of those games that I lost were very close, except for the Hero Frog one. that one was quick. My losses against Diva Zombie and Blackwing were pretty close. They were both 3 games, and it could have gone either way at some point. So,
like when you got pushed in by Gwari on stream when he was playing Hero Frogs as well, and it was like 2-0 in like 7 minutes or something ridiculous.
I was on stream twice this time. If you guys go to Carpath's channel and look up his VOD for this, I won on the first time I was on stream and then lost the second time. But it was a fun run. The fact that this deck now has 2 top 16s against competent decks feels pretty validating. It's at least a solid rogue choice if you want to do something spicy. That's it.
Thanks for watching, guys.